Let's quickly look at business that was considered on the floor of the House yesterday. Madam Speaker did make some announcements, and the first announcement that was made by the Right Honourable Madam Speaker was to recognize the presence in the public gallery of visitors from Sesheke District, led by the Sesheke District United Party for National Development UPND Chair Lady. Joe?
Oh, yes, indeed. And Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, did welcome the visitors to the institution.
And the other announcement that was made by the Right Honourable Madam Speaker was to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Keze Education Center in Chibombo District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, Madam Speaker did warmly welcome the guests to the Assembly.
In the other announcement, Madam Speaker informed the House that the National Assembly of Zambia was implementing the first phase of the Integrated Security Management System, ISMS, at Parliament buildings, whose modules were surveillance through a closed circuit television CCTV system and a biometric access control system. She informed the House that the ISMS allowed for coordinated response to security threats, thereby offering improved safety and efficiency.
And Madam Speaker further stated that in order to activate the system, the Security Department would need to obtain biodata for all members of Parliament. She stated that the exercise would be preceded by issuance of identity cards, which would be used as access cards.
In that regard, Madam Speaker requested all members to avail themselves for the exercise, which would be conducted in the Old Committee Room number 3, starting on Wednesday 23rd to Wednesday 30th July 2025 from 09 hours until adjournment time on each sitting day, and from 09 hours to 16 hours on Monday 28th July 2025.
And in conclusion, Madam Speaker informed the House that the Security Department would be on hand to assist any members that would require help on the exercise. So those were the announcements that were made by the Right Honourable Madam Speaker. After those announcements, the House did proceed to consider urgent matters without notice, and the following matters were noted under Standing Order 142. The first one came from Mr. Stephen Kampiongo, and this one was on the alleged failure by the Electoral Commission of Zambia to consult and update stakeholders on its preparatory processes for the 2026 general elections, particularly its decision to roll out a biometric identification system through a foreign company. This matter was inadmissible.
The second one did come from Mukush South Member of Parliament, Mr. Chisopa, on the subject matter on the alleged police pronouncement by the Republican President during swearing-in ceremony discussing the existence of witchcraft in Zambia, despite the active court proceedings involved Mozambican nationals accused of attempting to bewitch the head of state, and this matter was not admitted.
As per Standing Order 142, which permits only 3 matters without notice, the last one was from Mr. Francis Kapyanga Mpika, Member of Parliament, and this one was on the alleged cancellation of the mobile national registration exercise. This matter was equally inadmissible. So those were the 3 matters that were considered yesterday.
Yes, indeed. After consideration of those urgent matter without notice, there was a ministerial statement. The Minister of Agriculture made a statement on the purchase, preservation of maize and other crops during the 2025 harvest season. He briefed the House on the ongoing procurement processes across the country, measures being taken to ensure the strategic food reserves, as well as the status of farmers that benefited from the Farmer Input Support Program in the 2024-2025 farming season.
We did see quite a number of members of Parliament seeking clarity from the Minister of Agriculture by posing follow-up questions, and the House did consider questions for oral answer. The first one was Understanding Order 82. These are urgent nature, and this was question 384. Then there was consideration of questions for oral answer number 385, Understanding Order 80, ordinary questions, and the House did consider the grouped questions for all answer numbers 386 to 390, understanding order 83.
Thereafter, the House did consider a motion which was moved by Lunte Member of Parliament, Mr. Mtotwe Kafaya, urging the House to adopt the report of the Committee on National Guidance and Gender Matters on the performance audit or report on the effectiveness of government measures in ending child marriage in Zambia 2020 to 2023 for the fourth session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on 21st July 2025.
And this report was adopted. It was seconded by Kalomo Central Member of Parliament, Ms. Harry Hamboni. The House did consider the Building Society Amendment, the Building Societies Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2025, which read the third time and passed. There was a notice of subject for debate on the motion of adjournment, and the title was Address Developmental Inequalities Between Rural and Urban Areas. And the mover of this motion was Chilubi Area Member of Parliament, Mr. Mulenga Fure. And it being 18:27 hours, the House, the Second Deputy Speaker interrupted the proceedings, and the subject for debate lapsed. So basically, that's the business that was considered on the floor of the House. And shortly, you'll be able to see the Right Honourable Madam Speaker making the way to the chamber. That will signify the commencement of today's business. Joe, let's quickly look at what is expected to be considered on the floor of the House today. We shift and look at today's order paper.
Yes, indeed. Right now, we take you to the chamber, but the Speaker procession making its way into the chamber.
Honorable Members of Parliament, Madam Speaker.
And the sing of Zambia, proud and free, land of wealth and joy in unity, victors in the struggle for our rights. We want freedom's fight for one, strong and free. Africa is our own motherland, passion with and blessed by those who blend. Let us all our people join as one, brothers under the sun, oh one, strong and free. One land and one nation is our cry. Dignity and peace in Zambia's sky, like a noble eagle in its flight. Zambia, praise to thee, oh one, strong and free. Praise be to God, praise be. Bless our great Zambia, Zambia, Zambia. Green and we stand under the flag of our land. Zambia, praise to thee, oh one, strong and free.
Prayer. Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness has appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to consider with your abundant favor us, your servants, whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of such important responsibilities in this land. Let your blessing descend upon us here in Parliament assembled, and grant that we may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation, in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Order, honorable members, I have 4 announcements. The first one is, honorable members, I wish to acquaint the House with the presence in the Speaker's Gallery of the honorable members of Parliament and staff from the Parliament of Uganda as follows. Honorable Milton Mauwa Kalulu, Member of Parliament and Chairperson, Uganda Parliamentary Alliance on Food and Nutrition Security. And Mr. Kizito Sedo Waza, Coordinator, Uganda Parliamentary Alliance on Food and Nutrition. I wish, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, to receive our distinguished guests and to warmly welcome them in our midst. Thank you very much. You are welcome. The second announcement, honorable members, I wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Great North Road Academy in Lusaka District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. The third one, honorable members, I also wish to recognize the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Jamestown Academy in Lusaka District. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. The third announcement, honorable members, I wish to also recognize the presence in the public gallery of visitors from Kayema Parliamentary Constituency. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, I warmly welcome our visitors in our midst. I thank you. You may take your seats. The last announcement, honorable members, I wish to acquaint the House with the presence in the Speaker's Gallery of the following members of the Emeritus Parliamentarians of Africa in Lusaka District. Honorable Dr. Michael Kayingo, President. Honorable Annie Chungu, Vice President. Honorable Kenneth Chipungu, Treasurer. And Honorable Professor Geoffrey Rungwangwa, Secretary General. I wish, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, to receive our distinguished guests and warmly welcome them in our midst. Thank you very much. Welcome back to the House. Although now you are strangers. Thank you. So the next one is urgent matters without notice. The Honorable Member for Chilubi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving people of Chilubi an opportunity to ask the urgent matter without notice. Madam Speaker, Chilubi for some months now, including the day-to-day, has been having, specifically Chilubi Island, because we have 3 parts of Chilubi, has been having problems with water. And that problem with water, Madam Speaker, is so torturing that because on the island, that's where we have the highest concentration of government workers, and that's where we have highest concentration of technocrats, in short. And these are technocrats, Madam Speaker, that are coming from all sorts of areas who should enjoy conditions just like anyone. And I think we should not waste that time to go and get water using buckets from the lake, and that water may not be even treated. And we fear that anytime soon we may be having outbreaks of waterborne diseases. I don't know whether the Minister of Water is aware of the problem. It has been compounded further by continuous disruption of electricity, and the water supply utility, which was made for some time back, the capacity has proved to be smaller than the population at the island now is. So the problem, Madam Speaker, it may sound light as I speak about it, but it's life-threatening as it stands for today. I seek your ruling on that particular matter, your indulgence on that particular matter. I'm directing that Minister of Water to look at that particular issue.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member for Chilubi. For a matter to be qualified to be admitted as an urgent matter without notice, it must be raised within 24 hours from its occurrence. And also, from what you have said it has been ongoing for some months, so it's not of a recent occurrence. And also, Honorable Member for Chilubi, the Minister of Water Development and Sanitation is there, is willing to discuss, and he's kept his office and the door open for honorable members to engage. So, Honorable Member for Chilubi, please do engage, and I'm hoping that you have provided those 2 sites that were being asked for, because that will go towards resolving that issue. Honorable Member for Chilubi, it appears he has not even, so then it won't happen within 2 days or what, it takes some time. So please do engage, go to his office, have a cup of tea, take Chibuantu if you know how to make some. So let's go to the next one, the Honorable Member for Bangweulu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My matter is directed to the Minister of Health in his absence, to our Honor the Vice President. Minister of Health, or to our Honor the Vice President. Madam Speaker, your members seated here, they almost on a daily basis receive calls from the constituencies to assist in transporting patients from peripherals to the center, especially on referrals, Madam Speaker. And this morning, I was shocked, Madam Speaker, when I went to Zamsa to do my own business there. I found an ambulance procured through CDF, written Bangweulu constituency and many other constituencies. So, Madam Speaker, I need your guidance why the Minister of Health is keeping those ambulances which have already been delivered, that they could be used in our constituencies to deal with referrals. Madam Speaker, I seek your guidance.
Clearly, again, that matter does not qualify to be admitted as an urgent matter without notice. Again, like I indicated or guided the Honorable Member for Chilubi, the Honorable Minister is there from Health, Minister of Health, or our Honor the Vice President is there. Let's engage. And if the ambulances are there, that's good news. We were hearing that the ambulances have not been delivered. So they are at Zamsa. So you just engage the Honorable Minister to say, we have seen our ambulances, when are you delivering them? It's easy. So I don't know why we want to complicate these issues. We don't want to discuss and interact with each other. We are one house, we are one government. Let's interact for the benefit of the people that we represent. I'm sure that is not a big task to do, Honorable Member from Bangweulu. You can engage. So let's make progress. Question for oral answer under Standing Order 80. The Honorable Member for Kasama Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing the people of Kasama Central to ask question number 391.
The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Ms. S. Mwamba, to ask the Minister of Transport and Logistics a three-part question. In A, how many cases of motorcycle-related accidents were recorded countrywide as of March 2025? B, what measures the government is taking to ensure that motorcycle riders are trained and licensed before they start operating on public roads? And lastly, in Part C, Madam Speaker, what other interventions are being taken to reduce the occurrence of motorcycle accidents and avert a rise in the number of deaths and loss of property? In response to the question raised by the Honourable Member of Parliament for Kasama Central Parliamentary constituency, I wish to inform this August House as follows. A total of 682 road traffic crashes involving motorcycles were recorded from January 31st to 31st March 2025. These crashes resulted in 89 fatalities, 321 serious injuries, and 355 slight injuries being recorded. B, government is implementing the following measures to ensure that motorcycle riders are trained and licensed before they start operating on public roads. 1, motorcycle riders undergo both practical and theory examinations before a license is issued to operate on public roads. The examination conducted by the Road Transport and Safety Agency, RATSA, covers the Zambian Highway Code, defensive driving, proper safety equipment use, and safe road use practices. Number 2, enhanced enforcement and monitoring to ensure compliance to road safety, particularly around motorcycle registration, helmet use, and licensing. And lastly, in Part 3, mobile registration of motorcycles and licensing of riders, with the most recent exercises conducted in Kanchivia, Mpika, Lavushmanda, Shawangandu, Chinsali, Isoka, and Shiwuyunji districts. C, the other interventions that government is undertaking to reduce the occurrence of motorcycle accidents are engagements with traditional and civic leaders in rural areas to raise awareness on safe motorcycle use, with the most recent being in Chipata in Eastern Province and Kanchivia in Muchinga Province. Number 2, sensitization campaigns on motorcycle safety, highlighting the importance of being licensed and use of helmets in preventing head injuries and saving lives. So far, parts of northwestern, Muchinga, southern, and eastern provinces have been sensitized. And in Part 3, Madam Speaker, motorbike safety training programs are aimed at reducing motorcycle-related road crashes, covering essential areas such as defensive driving, proper safety equipment use, and safe road use practices. The programs are conducted in collaboration with partners such as the Zambia Road Safety Trust, World Vision, Zambian Breweries, Northwestern Motorbikers Association, and Yango, targeting delivery riders and trainers. 2 programs have been conducted since late last year, with the recent one held in Chisamba. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we proceed, Honorable Member for Lunte, maybe you can approach the Honorable Member for Bangweru and consult quietly, because we can hear you loudly from here. Supplementary questions, the Honorable Member for Kasama Central.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to ask a follow-up question. Honorable Minister, the response that you have given seems to be a perfect response, but what is prevailing on the ground is actually very sad, especially in border towns like Nakonde, Kasama as well. There is quite a lot of illegal young riders. You mentioned Yango, which we do not have Yango in rural areas, so motorcycles are now part of the taxi sector. Honorable Minister, there is need for stronger collaboration between the ministry, your ministry, the Zambia Police and Road Traffic Safety Agency, RATSA. Honorable Minister, my question would be, would you inform this House on any upcoming legislative or regulatory reforms that are being considered in order to reduce the motorcycle-related fatalities, as well as improving road discipline among riders? Honorable Minister, I wish to state that at Kasama General Hospital, there is even a ward that has been dedicated for cyclists and passengers as well. Overloading is rampant, no safety. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to Honourable Member for that follow-up question. I totally concur, Madam Speaker, with the Honourable Member that cycles as a new form of transport indeed have brought serious challenges. It's quite a new phenomenon to our country, Zambia, and it's a phenomenon that I'm afraid we are not able to do away with. There will be no need in terms of bringing in fresh legislation. I think that laws do exist in terms of ensuring that those that are taking up motorcycling as a form of personal as well as transport for others must simply comply. The Honourable Member makes reference to this problem being particularly rife in border areas, and that is indeed a true reflection of what is obtaining on the ground. And that even when you make reference to a specific ward in Kasama that's been dedicated to people being brought in with injuries as a result of motorcyclist accidents, Kasama is not peculiar. We have a similar situation that at Chipata General Hospital, we do have now a ward that has been referred to as Gatoma Ward, also responding to injuries as a result of motorcycle accidents. But Madam Speaker, the Honourable Member will actually would do well to learn that in other jurisdictions like Uganda, they have gone beyond just a mere ward. There is actually a whole hospital dedicated to nothing but actually motorcycle accidents. We are, as a ministry, working very closely with RATSA to ensure that what we must do is to enforce the laws and educate, like I stated in my answer, using traditional leaders such as the collaboration recently held with Paramount Chief Mpezeni of Eastern Province, that the Chief is equally concerned, and he did give all the support to RATSA that we move in and do that which was necessary, including impounding a total of 850 motorbikes, not just for punitive measures, but for the sake of inviting them to come through so that we are able to check their compliance levels of ensuring that they always use helmets and to see to it that they are actually licensed and that the motorbikes that they use are equally registered. In the border areas, this problem, like I said, is quite rampant because some of the ways of obtaining or acquiring these motorcycles is unconventional. It is arising out of trade, that once they've taken goods across a particular border, they end up in a barter system and they come back with a bike and perhaps a few pennies. So this ministry, my ministry, is working very, very hard that we raise these compliance levels by constant engagement and also education. You will be shocked to learn, Madam Speaker, that in some instances, these riders don't even know the three colors on traffic lights, the red, the amber, and the green. Even when it is red, Madam Speaker, motorcyclists will attempt to cross and they are ending up being bashed. This is extremely very sad, and we are certainly doing something about it, and that we shall escalate to ensure that this scourge of motorcycle crashes is nipped in the bud. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Kankoyo, is that how you enter the House? The Honorable Member for Ron.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and Honorable Minister, thank you very much for the statement. Honorable Minister, you have outlined quite a number of measures that your ministry is trying to take to ensure that these motorcycle accidents are minimized or reduced. Honorable Minister, driving from Lusaka to Copperbelt frequently, we have also observed that the impunity is actually getting out of hand, where sometimes a motorcycle biker is even failing to sit properly. Behind him is a toddler. At the end, there is a wife with a baby at the back and Katundu at the far end, which makes it very, very uncomfortable and dangerous. You have talked of measures that you are trying to put in. Honorable Minister, probably maybe one of the measures that we would want to hear from you is the fines that are involved. Are the fines so light that they could not deter would-be offenders? What are the fine structures like on the motor riders like? Because if you talk about vehicles, the fine are actually enough to deter would-be offenders. Are you able to share with this House and indeed with the country how the fine structure is with the motorcyclists and motorbikers? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member. Just to say that to the Honourable Member, you ask a very, very specific question, which is rather outside the spirit of this particular question. And I will advise that if the Honourable Member could actually follow us, either through RATSA or my office, that such details can then be availed. At the moment, I'm not able to give those specifics. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Just to encourage honorable members, as you ask questions, please be precise to the point. There are so many other members who would want to ask questions. Let's not debate or attempt to answer our own questions. The honorable member for Lukasha.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to ask a follow-up question to the Minister. Honorable Minister, apart from overloading on motorbike, one of the other contributing factor to repeated accident is safety for the riders themselves as well as the passengers. Usually you see riders cycling or riding without helmets, and even their passengers without helmet. What has been so difficult in enforcing this rule that you can't ride the motorcycle as well as carry passengers without both wearing helmets? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think that the Honourable Member actually states a very notorious fact that what we need actually is to enhance enforcement, and perhaps we are running low on staffing levels in terms of RTIs. These are road traffic inspectors. And I'm sure that you've heard me on the floor of this House and perhaps in the news media actually urge RATSA that we move to the next level of bringing in honorary traffic inspectors to help us beef up in terms of manpower required in the enforcement. Now, the other problem is that RATSA is normally present in the trunk routes, that is between towns and cities, and that most of the accidents are actually happening within township roads, where we have to work in collaboration with the traffic section of the Zambia police. And again, you state a very obvious fact. We ensure that a motorcycle actually does come with 2 sets of helmets. This is a requirement by law that a motorcycle ought to be sold with those 2 sets of helmets. Unfortunately, even when our people have gotten those particular helmets, they are somewhat not using them. And this is why we must not relent, but to continue sensitization and awareness campaigns that those helmets are not there as a luxury, they're actually a necessity to help us save lives. So we are going to continue to focus on the need that we need to escalate awareness and actually training. Some people think they can just simply walk into a motorcycle store and pick up a motorcycle as though they were picking up a bicycle. You will realize that a motorcycle is actually a vehicle that is to be very different from how we operate bicycles. So we are working also with suppliers of these motorcycles to ensure that we must find a way where a motorcycle must not be sold to somebody unless they produce a rider's license. I think that this will go a long way in helping us curb these motorcycle accidents. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kasama Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, compliance seems to be a major challenge when it comes to motorcycles. The use of helmets and reflective gear, overloading, lack of licensing, even the unlicensed motorcycle itself. Then there's also just lack of knowledge on the highway code, because motorcyclists use the road in conjunction with other motor users. I wanted to find out, Honorable Minister, what public awareness campaigns has the ministry undertaken in rural areas as well as rurals with high prevalence of accidents, and how is enforcement being handled? Thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for that follow-up question. If the Honourable Member had been paying attention, Madam Speaker, in my response to Part C of a question, and for avoidance of doubt, I shall repeat. My response was that the other interventions that government is undertaking to reduce the occurrence of motorcycle accidents are: 1, engagements with traditional and civic leaders in rural areas to raise awareness on safe motorcycle use, with the most recent engagements being in Chipata in Eastern Province and Kanchibia in Muchinga Province. Also sensitization campaigns through the Education Department of RATSA. We are actually going out to try and bring this awareness to our people that are using motorcyclists. Madam Speaker, perhaps for... Hello. Madam Speaker, I need your protection.
Oh, the Honorable
From
Member,
colleagues who are disturbing the good flow of ideas. I'm about to give a major pronouncement, Madam Speaker, that one of the things that we're actually doing to raise awareness is that sometime in September this year, Madam Speaker, Zambia will be host to what we are calling the Mosotunia Rally, where we have a number of riders from the region and beyond, some coming from as far as Dubai and Saudi Arabia, who have close to 1,000 bikers that shall descend through Kazungula, and that the bikers, will ride from Kazungula into Livingstone, and that from Livingstone we shall ride into Lusaka. Madam Speaker, as Minister of Transport and Logistics, I happen to be one of those ministers, for the sake of this awareness, that have since acquired a motorbike, and that I too will ride with these bikers from Livingstone all the way to Lusaka, as a way of awareness. And that as we cross each and every town along the route, Madam Speaker, we shall be inviting some of these Gatoma riders to come and actually be part of this program, which will be a regional event, and we hope that eventually it will become annual, that we can put Zambia on the map as a country that is promoting road safety insofar as motorcyclists are concerned. Madam Speaker, without preempting, the Minister of Tourism will also be part of that program. Minister Small and Medium has also recently acquired a motorbike, Madam Speaker. I am told the Minister of Youth and Sport is in the process of, but is rather scared that it may not be safe, but we're encouraging the Minister of Sport to also be part of this. I will not speak on behalf of Anthony Mumba. Madam Speaker, we don't know which size of motorbike that Anthony Mumba would be comfortable on. But we can look around and find something suitable. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for putting a smile on all of us. I'm also considering whether I should also get one motorbike and join the race. Thank you. So we make progress. The Honorable Member for Bahati.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I will also acquire one so that I join the Minister of Transport. Madam Speaker, there are so many unregistered motorcycles operating in our border towns, and most of these, Madam Speaker, are being procured from foreign jurisdictions. No, don't want to mention that name. Minister, what mechanisms are you putting in place to ensure that only motorcycles that are registered are allowed to conduct business on our roads? And Minister, there are so many young riders, young boys riding these motorcycles. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Honorable Member, thank you for that follow-up question. I did state in my previous responses that we are trying to formalize a very formal working relationship with suppliers of motorcycles. That, as a matter of fact, the suppliers ought to have a duty not to sell motorcycles unless a buyer has actually produced a rider's license. I think that this will go a long way to prevent the current spate of motorcycle accidents that we are witnessing on our Zambian roads. So this is something that, as a matter of fact, prior to my coming to Parliament, I did meet the Managing Director and owner of Gatoma, and that we are discussing this problem, and that we are sharing ways and means of ensuring that we can reduce and really derive the benefits that can come out of a cheaper mode of transport for some of our people using motorcycles. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Mandi.
Thank you so very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics. We've seen in other jurisdictions or other countries where the introduction or the motorcycle transport ends up becoming a nuisance. I think you've seen those countries, I'll not mention, where the roads become really just very, very dangerous because there are so many motorbikes. Having learnt those lessons from those countries, what are we doing as a country to make sure that this mode of transport doesn't get to the level where it becomes a nuisance and dangerous on our roads? I submit.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to Honourable Member for Mwandi for that follow-up question. And in response, Madam Speaker, I'll state that we are not focusing on those jurisdictions where motorcycle riding is becoming a nuisance. Where we are looking at jurisdictions where there is coexistence in terms of the use of roads. Places like Tanzania, Madam Speaker, is a place where there are so many motorcycles and yet very few accidents because of respect for other road users. And this is what training for our riders will entail, that they are not the only users of the roads and that they must respect other road users, including pedestrians. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for... Oh, he has withdrawn. I thought the chairperson of the Committee on Transport was the Honorable Member for Shangom.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As much as I appreciate the response from the Minister, but I got worried when he said that whoever is going to purchase a motorbike is required to have a license. Madam Speaker, I know that there are people like my brother Honorable Skumba, Honorable Minister of Agriculture, the bumper harvest. They have farms and they can procure for their farmers. So how are they going to handle such situations? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Madam Speaker, thank you to the Honourable Member for that question. And simply put, Madam Speaker, it will be essential that every motorcycle rider does obtain a license. Whether that motorcycle will end up being used at a farm, even there will be other people that may be endangered with the reckless use of such a motorcycle. I don't think that we should discriminate, and it's not always that riders may be confined to a farm. They may have to come out to go and undertake one or two errands. So in order for us to fix this problem, which is here to stay, and in order for us to rid our roads of these motorcycle crashes, we have to ensure that just like drivers for motor vehicles, we are trained and we obtain licenses, so too must motorcycle riders. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. Still, so many people have indicated. Please be precise to the point, because we have other orders on the order paper which we need to attend to. Honorable Member for Lufuvu.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, you've done a lot, which we appreciate. Sensitization, you've done that. But when you see this question is always coming, the problem is so huge on the ground. These people are so careless that they don't, it's like they don't even care for their own lives, as they are endangering other people's lives. Can there be anything urgent that your ministry can do to see to it that we bring them in order? They begin doing things, they begin following the rules on the road. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honourable Member for that follow-up question. And in response, Madam Speaker, I'll say that one of the very, very urgent interventions that I referred to in my response was the impounding of these motorcycles. To the extent, Madam Speaker, that our people in Eastern Province, Chipata in particular, tried to revolt by actually trying to protest. We are so delighted that working together with the traditional leadership of Inkosi Amakosi, Chief Mpezeni, together with the Eastern Province Provincial Administration, through the Honourable Minister, we did come together. And that because we are united, even with the offices of His Worship the Mayor, our people did eventually realize that what we are trying to do is for their own sake. And that out of that exercise of 850 motorcycles being impounded, 473 have since complied. They came forward to ensure that their papers in terms of licensing for the bikes as well as for their riding was in order. And that to date now we are only remaining with 377 that are still undergoing this process of regularization of their use of motorcycles. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
We need to make progress. The Honorable Member for Petauke Central, your constituency has been mentioned, Petauke Central, Chipata. You can have the floor and ask the question.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving the good people of Petauke a chance to ask Honorable Minister of Transport a question. Honorable Minister, since this motorbike transportation has become a mode of cheapest transport, are you in a position as a government to design motorbike lanes alongside with these main roads, even motorbike stations, as also one way of keeping these motorbikes accident? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Minister of Transport and Logistics.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you to the Honorable Member from Petauke. Just to say, Madam Speaker, that this is a very specific question dealing with motorcycle accidents resulting in injuries and fatalities. The Honorable Member would do well to put in that question to the relevant ministries, those that design road infrastructure, the Road Development Agency through Ministry of Infrastructure through RDA, and also Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you very much. We make progress. Motions, the Honorable Member for Momba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that this House adopt the report of the Planning and Budgeting Committee to consider the 2024 Annual Progress Report on the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 22nd July 2025.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded?
Yes, Madam Speaker.
Seconded by the Honorable Member for Kantanshi. The question is, that this House adopts the report of the Planning and Budgeting Committee on the consideration of the 2024 Annual Progress Report on the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 22nd July 2025. Any debate? The Honorable Member for Momba.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, in line with the Standing Order 204, number 4 of the National Assembly of Zambia, Standing Orders 2024, which details the functions of the Planning and Budgeting Committee, the committee reviewed the 2024 Annual Progress Report on the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan. The year 2024 represented the 3rd year of executing the plan, which outlines Zambia's strategic direction in the period 2022 to 2026. Madam Speaker, allow me to remind the House that reviewing the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan offers a unique chance to evaluate progress towards Zambia's long-term goal of becoming a prosperous middle-income country by 2030. It also allows the House to consider the current trends that may influence the achievement of the vision and thereafter make necessary recommendations for effective implementation. Madam Speaker, from the outset, I wish to highlight the committee's major concern, and that is the substantial financing gap that hindered the effective implementation of the 8th National Development Plan in 2024. This challenge was further compounded by the impact of the 2023-2024 drought, leading to the failure to achieve key output targets across the 4 strategic development areas. As members are aware, Madam Speaker, the 4 strategic development areas are: number 1, Zambia's economic transformation and job creation; number 2, human and social development; number 3, environmental sustainability; and the 4th one, Madam Speaker, good governance environment. Madam Speaker, the 8th National Development Plan had a projected expenditure of 171.9 billion for 2024, of which only 50.9 billion was actually allocated, leaving a significant shortfall of about 70%, or 121 billion kwacha. Madam Speaker, the shortfall in funding may compromise the effective execution of the plan through to 2026, and therefore threaten the attainment of the long-term vision, which is the Vision 2030. The committee, Madam Speaker, therefore strongly recommends that the government should fully align future financing with the proposed budget. It also recommends that the government should strengthen domestic resource mobilization activities by broadening and ensuring tax compliance. The committee also strongly recommends that the government focuses its resources on strategic priority sectors with the greatest potential to spur economic growth. Madam Speaker, it is not sustainable to spread limited resources thinly across many areas, but instead the resources should be channeled to areas where they will have the most meaningful impact. Madam Speaker, a key lesson that is reported in the 2024 annual progress report is unrealistic target setting. It is acknowledged that some of the targets set in the implementation plan were over-ambitious, which affected the credibility and quality of the performance reporting. The committee therefore recommends that the government should be setting targets that are realistic, achievable, and measurable, reflecting the country's economic landscape. Regular reviews must be undertaken in collaboration with all stakeholders, including line ministries, civil society, and cooperating partners, to ensure that set goals remain aligned with the national priorities and realities on the ground. Madam Speaker, the committee noted that in order to enhance the effective implementation of the plan, it is crucial for the government to have in place a robust monitoring and evaluation mechanism. Such a system will play a vital role in assessing the progress made towards set targets, identifying existing challenges, and recommending timely corrective measures to address those challenges. Madam Speaker, your committee is aware of the monitoring and evaluation framework contained in the implementation plan. The committee therefore wishes to urge the government to ensure that the framework is made more effective. Madam Speaker, another matter of concern of the committee was the issue of illegal mining. Going by media reports, there is an increase in the prevalence of illegal mining and unsafe mining activities across our country. These operations continue to cause serious environmental degradation, economic losses, and the tragic loss of innocent lives. Of particular concern, Madam Speaker, is the encroachment of illegal mining into areas reserved for agriculture, such as the Nasanga farming block, which is threatening both food security and land use planning. To address this, Madam Speaker, the committee strongly recommends that the Ministry of Mines and Minerals Development should strengthen enforcement mechanisms to curb these illegal activities. In addition, the committee urged the government to swiftly operationalize the Minerals Regulation Commission to enhance oversight and ultimately improve governance and regulation in the mining sector. The committee further recommends the formalization of artisanal small-scale miners to enable them possibly to contribute to domestic revenue through tax compliance. Alongside this, Madam Speaker, the committee calls for enhanced coordination between miners and cooperatives within the mining sector, as well as sustained investment in capacity building and value addition. These measures, Madam Speaker, will support the integration of small-scale miners into the formal economy and boost domestic resource mobilization. Madam Speaker, Zambia remains highly vulnerable to the effects of climate change. This factor was painfully evident during the 2023-2024 rain season, which was hit by the severe drought that was leading to significant reduction in agriculture output, thereby negatively affecting the country's food security. Critical sectors, Madam Speaker, which are vital to our economic growth, such as agriculture and energy, are now increasingly threatened by unpredictable weather patterns and climate shocks. Madam Speaker, despite environmental sustainability being one of the strategic development areas in the 8th National Development Plan, this key tool for building resilience remains severely underfunded. This funding gap limits interventions such as the rollout of critical early warning systems for our farmers, among other targets. The committee therefore calls for increased financial provision towards climate change prevention, adaptation, and mitigation. This is in addition to the recruitment and capacity building of camp extension officers in climate-smart agriculture. Madam Speaker, with your indulgence, just another 1 minute. The committee also encourages the promotion of climate-resilient crops and diversification beyond maize, so that our farmers are better protected against future shocks. Madam Speaker, lastly, the good governance environment pillar under the 8th National Development Plan is not a formality. It is the backbone of our economic transformation, justice, and the rule of law. Without it, Madam Speaker, development is unsustainable. The key concern is the low completion rate of Consequence Development Fund, which fund projects. Of the 2,974 projects planned, only 595, or 20%, were completed. This was mainly due to challenges local contractors faced with the new e-government procurement system. Madam Speaker, this highlights the need for technology to support not hinder service delivery. The committee therefore recommends targeted capacity building for local contractors to improve project completion and fulfill the promise of decentralization. Madam Speaker, I urge this honorable House to support these recommendations by adopting the report of the committee. May I appeal to all members of this august House to continue working collectively to ensure that Zambia's development trajectory remains on course. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, allow me to thank you and also the clerk for affording us the opportunity to serve on this important committee. I also wish to thank all the stakeholders that appeared before the committee to comment on the 2024 annual progress report implementation of the 8th National Development Plan. Madam Speaker, let me also thank the members of your committee, where I serve as their chairperson, for affording me the opportunity to move this motion. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you very much. Does the seconder wish to speak now or later?
No, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Kantanshi.
Madam Speaker, I rise to second the motion so effectively presented by the chairperson of the committee, urging this House, to adopt the committee report on the 2024 annual progress report on the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan. As members are aware, The planning process in Zambia is provided for in the National Planning and Budgeting Act of 2020. Submission of an annual report on the implementation of a national development plan is one of the requirements of the Act. It is in this light that the 2024 annual progress report was submitted to the National Assembly of Zambia and subsequently referred to the Planning and Budgeting Committee for detailed consideration. With the introduction of sector budget analysis in the National Assembly, Madam Speaker, it is just about the right time to begin a conversation on how all oversight committees of Parliament can be involved in scrutinizing the annual progress reports on the implementation of the national development plans. This will enable committees to be well informed as they examine annual budgets estimates that are referred to them. Madam Speaker, the mover of the motion has touched on some key issues that the committee observed in considering the 2024 annual progress report. In seconding, I will highlight some other key issues contained in the report. Madam Speaker, the electricity supply challenges that we are faced with, which were brought about by the drought during the 2023-2024 rainy season, impacted various sectors and adversely affected the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan. The electricity power shortage has exposed our country's over-reliance on hydro and revealed the vulnerability of key sectors such as mining, agriculture, and manufacturing to electricity supply disruptions. Madam Speaker, the recent electricity disruptions have negatively impacted production, put jobs at risk, and reduced economic output. This highlights the urgent need for Zambia to adopt a more resilient and diversified strategy. The committee therefore urges the government to scale up investment in alternative energy sources, especially solar, wind, and thermal. These efforts, Madam Speaker, will help lessen our dependence on hydro, strengthen energy security, attract public-private partnerships, stimulate new industries, and create employment, and also promote sustainable economic growth. Madam Speaker, the committee commends the government for the progress made in the tourism sector. The country recorded 2.2 million international arrivals in 2024, which was just short of the 3 million target set for 2026. This 35% growth from the previous year reflects commendable strides, largely driven by eased visa requirements and improved market strategies. Madam Speaker, while Zambia celebrates this achievement, it must stay on course and not become complacent. The committee believes that much more can be done to position Zambia as a leading global tourist destination. To do this, increased investment in tourism promotion is critical. Greater visibility on the international stage will boost foreign exchange earnings, which in turn can help fund infrastructure improvements across the sector. Madam Speaker, domestic tourism has not yet been fully harnessed. The committee therefore urges the government to enhance local tourism by improving access to tourist sites by having better road infrastructure. The country should capitalize on this momentum, diversify tourism products, and ensure that both international and local travelers are encouraged to explore what Zambia has to offer. Madam Speaker, successful implementation of any national development plan depends on having financial resources. The committee has observed that the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan has faced numerous challenges, chief among them being significant financing gaps across the various strategic development areas. These funding shortfalls have hindered the achievement of their targets. Madam Speaker, it is clear that failure to allocate sufficient funds strikes at the heart of our nation's future. Without sustainable financing, our dreams of economic transformation and job creation may remain out of reach. Therefore, Madam Speaker, the committee strongly recommends that the government should put in place robust measures to ensure domestic resource mobilization by broadening the tax base, such as formalization of the informal sector, Enhanced domestic revenue will therefore contribute to sustainable and predictable budgetary releases, which are essential for the successful rollout of the 8 National Development Plan interventions. Madam Speaker, alongside these challenges is the pressing issue of illicit financial flows. This scourge drains billions of dollars from our economy every year, which could otherwise be invested in the development of the country. The committee is concerned about the damaging impact these illicit flows have on the ability of the country to mobilize resources domestically and to finance its development agenda sustainably. In light of this, Madam Speaker, the committee recommends that the government should strengthen coordination among relevant agencies, namely the Zambia Revenue Authority, the Financial Intelligence Center, the law enforcement agencies, including the Ministry of Finance and National Planning, to aggressively combat illicit financial flows. In conclusion, Madam Speaker, allow me to join the mover of the motion in urging this House to adopt the report of the committee and to thank you, Madam Speaker, for affording us the opportunity to serve on this important committee. I also wish to thank the members of your committee for affording me the opportunity to second the motion. Madam Speaker, I beg to second.
Thank you very much. As the seconder was seconding, I saw indications of members saying the seconder is reading, and this is in violation of Standing Order 64-6. But I've observed the attendance where seconders now keep on reading speeches, so I don't know, maybe there will be need to amend these standing orders because it's being violated. So we'll see. It's up to you, honorable members. Any further debate? I have been informed that the honorable member for Lumezi is ready to render his maiden speech. The honorable member for Lumezi.
Madam Speaker, thank you for according me this opportunity to deliver my maiden speech in this August House. It is with deep humility and gratitude that I raise to represent the good people of Lumezi constituency. One of the most rural yet resilient areas in Eastern Province. In this regard, I would like to thank the President of the Republic of Zambia, Madam Speaker, who is also the party president of the United Party for National Development, UPND, and the entire party leadership and the party structures at national, provincial, district, constituency, and ward level for the support they rendered to me as their candidate. I further would like to, in particular, thank my provincial chairman and his team for the role he played to make sure that victory was earned. I would also like to thank those who voted for me and those who didn't vote for me.
That's the spirit.
As a member of Parliament for Lumezi, I pledge to work hard to spearhead development for all the people. Madam Speaker, may I also thank my wife for being with me. My family and friends who stood with me throughout this by-election. Madam Speaker, I would also like to give special thanks to His Excellency, the President, Mr. Akainde Chirema, who had previously appointed me as a district commissioner to serve in Chasefu district and finally Lumezi district in Eastern Province. Madam Speaker, allow me to commend the new Dawn administration under the able leadership of His Excellency, the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, for his bold efforts in transforming the governance and development landscape of our country, Zambia. The increased Constituency Development Fund, CDF, the promotion of decentralization, and the emphasis on transparency and accountability have given a renewed hope to the people at the grassroots level. Madam Speaker, these reforms are timely and recommendable, and they have the potential to unlock the inclusive development for rural constituencies like Lumezi. Madam Speaker, my election as a Member of Parliament on the UBN ticket is a show of confidence by the people of Lumezi in the visionary leadership of His Excellency, President Hakainde Hichilema. The people of Lumezi, therefore, are expectant that this hard-working government will address some of the key challenges that my constituency continue to face and require urgent attention. Madam Speaker, let me now address the issue that continues to threaten the safety, food and security and livelihood of our people in Lumezi, and that is human-animal conflicts. I am aware, Madam Speaker, that human-animal conflicts affect a number of constituencies across the nation, especially in rural areas. In communities across my constituency, people live in constant fear because of elephants, lions, and other wild animals that destroy their crops, attack livestock, and endanger human lives, and sometimes loss of life. Madam Speaker, I can also mention that during my by-election, about 4 people lost their lives because of the human-animal conflicts. This problem is particularly acute in the valley regions that lie adjacent to Ruambe and Rukusuzi National Parks, Madam Speaker, as well as the Rumimba Game Management Area. These communities require protection urgently. During the rainy season or farming season, night after night, farmers must sleep in their fields to protect their crops from elephants. Furthermore, Madam Speaker, 3 chiefdoms in Lumezi share a border with the Kasungu National Park in Malawi. The authorities of the Malawian side have properly secured their side of the national parks to avert human-animal conflict. As an elected Member of Parliament, I will collaborate with the relevant authorities and line ministries to put up a similar infrastructure to protect our people and their livelihoods. I have no doubt in my mind that this caring government will do everything possible to secure and protect the lives of the people that overwhelmingly voted for us in 2021 and have continued to vote for us. The people of Lumezi stand ready to cooperate with the Minister of Tourism to seriously attend to this devastating matter, which has existed for a very, very long time and also affects the people of Chipangali and Lumezi, Lundazi constituency as well. Madam Speaker, it is my desire to work to build infrastructure and enhance service delivery. As earlier stated, we must not forget the human element of development. Empowering people is a very important, taking advantage of the goodwill of President Hakainde Hichilema, who has increased CDF to generously equal proportions in all the constituencies. Madam Speaker, using this avenue, I will closely work with government departments, civil society organizations, and other stakeholders in the district to emancipate the most vulnerable of our populations, particularly women, youth, and persons with disabilities. This, Madam Speaker, is essential for creating an inclusive and sustainable future for Lumezi, in line with the vision of President Hichilema and the new Dawn administration. Women in our communities are the backbone of families and agricultural activities. Our women in Lumezi require various empowerment programs to help them establish viable businesses and improve household incomes. Lumezi has a lot of talented youths who are energetic and full of potential. It is my duty, therefore, to ensure that every citizen of Rumezi is seen, heard, supported in their day-to-day endeavors. Madam Speaker, I reaffirm my commitment to serve the people of Rumezi with integrity, dedication, and purpose. I will work hand in hand with traditional leaders, local authorities, civil society, and all arms of government to ensure that Rumezi is not left behind in Zambia development agenda. Madam Speaker, time has now come for elevation of Rumezi. The President is working very, very hard to develop Zambia, and Rumezi will now not be left behind. With UPND in control, Rumezi is now in the right hands. Rumezi is now safe. The future of Rumezi looks bright, and Rumezi is now headed for development. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
No, the honorable members, we have a lot of work before us, and there are so many indications. So, honorable members, we continue, we make progress. Any further debate? The honorable member for Lunte.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. I would like to appreciate my honorable brother, Honorable Fred Chatara, for moving this motion. Let me also appreciate Honorable Anton Mumba for ably reading his seconding notes. Madam Speaker, the UPND government decided, the UPND government made by themselves the 8th National Development Plan as a basis of delivering development to the Zambian people. Last year, 2024, this is the review of this assembly in terms of what they achieved in implementing the 8th National Development Plan. Madam Speaker, if you come with me in this report, under the committee's observations and recommendations on page 34, you'll find where the committee is saying, in 2024, there was severe low budget allocation to the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan. Madam, the plan was to deliver 171.9 billion. UPND government only delivered 50.9 billion. That is just 30% of what they had planned to deliver. Madam Speaker, this ensured that there was a financing gap of 120 billion. Now, 120 billion less is 70% off the mark, Madam Speaker. You plan high, you allocate low, but you expect to deliver developmental objectives. I find this expectation a very unfortunate expectation. Madam Speaker, if there are any Zambian people out there who expect that UPND can deliver the 8th National Development Plan, listen to 2024. 70% off the mark. This is extremely poor, Madam Speaker. Page 36, Madam Speaker, your committee is now saying, urge the UPND government to curb illicit financial flows. And they are saying, in 2024, UPND allowed over $3.5 billion to fly out of this country. When ZRA did the assessment, it was a loss of more than $1 billion in taxes. Madam Speaker, how do you have a government which would allow in 1 year over $3.5 billion to fly out of the country when you are borrowing, Madam Speaker? Madam, you allow a country lose $1 billion in taxes, but you are overtaxing people, including mobile money transactors. And then You come in 2025 that will add to this taxation even Mishanga sellers, those who sell cigarettes, madam. It is very unfortunate. Madam Speaker, this country is under siege by the misgovernance of the UPND government. Madam, this is a report from the National Assembly of Zambia. This report I'm reading is not from my home. It is not from anybody's home. It is from the National Assembly of Zambia, and these are facts. Madam, and in fact, this very year, 2025, another report has come out. Before the year ends, we are already talking about more than $3.5 billion. What will the amount become at the end of the year, madam? When the committee will be reviewing the performance in 2025, what illicit financial flow are they going to actually report? This is unfortunate for our country. And if you came with me to page 37, Madam Speaker, you will find where the committee is recommending that establish ZCCMIH as a mining company by legislation, so that you can make the Zambian people participate in mining. Let every investor who comes to this country in this sector come only with less than 50% shares, so that the 51% shares goes to ZCCMIH. We are talking about this recommendation, Madam Speaker, at the time when UPND has given away 51% shares for nothing to foreigners. 51% shares of Mopani has been given away for nothing. They got nothing from that. They just delivered the shares. Can you say this government can be advised, madam, and that they can follow advice? I feel very, very bad when I'm talking about these things, because those shares from Mopani have already gone. Bring those shares back. Give them back to ZCCMIH. The committee headed by my honorable brother, Honorable Chatila, is not unreasonable. This is very reasonable. Ensure that ZCCMIH becomes an investor in the mining sector, and they have recommended 51% as a minimum, Madam Speaker. Then the revenue in the mining sector will not be lost in the manner we are seeing. Do you know, Madam Speaker, that even Mopani, which was under liquidation, I think nomenclature will inform you that practically it wasn't liquidation, but it was some other form. It has also been given away back to Vedanta. What are the people saying right now in Chingola? What are the people saying? Vedanta is doing nothing. One minister was saying, I was healthy, but the negotiations with Mopani and Vedanta made me to start drinking BP tablets. Madam, where did you see ministers begin to transact business? Where, in which government in this country did you ever see ministers negotiating business deals? It is only in the UPND government. Self-confessed minister, madam, who is now on BP tablets because of negotiating deals which are so bad. Negotiating deals to give away 51% shares, negotiating deals to bring back Vedanta, who the people now want to check out. Do you see that, madam? I feel extremely bad when I make comments on these matters, because it is painful. From year 1, this is year 4 now. We've been talking about these matters, and UPND can't change. UPND cannot listen. What are we going to use to communicate to UPND for them to transform themselves and begin to think about the Zambian people? Madam Speaker, this report is talking about load shedding. It's talking about the fact that this particular implementation period could not be achieved because of load shedding. But we have been saying, stop exporting power. The Minister of Energy is here all the time when we tell them, stop exporting power to other countries. They can't listen, madam. The only thing over here, I know FRA is going to sell 1 million metric tons. The minister comes to refute. The board chair was misled. What type of government are you? Change Madam Speaker, this government must change. Time has gone.
Order, honorable members, let's make progress. The next honorable member for Kanyama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity of giving people of Kanyama to add their voice. Madam Speaker, I just want to look at the challenges the government, is facing from inception vis-à-vis the non-funding of the 8th National Development Plan. Madam Speaker, it's just unfortunate that I don't know whether to call it unfortunate or some disaster of some kind. Madam Speaker, to date we have not healed from the effect of COVID-19, which spread up to 2022, somewhere there. Now, Madam Speaker, unfortunately, climate change issues came into effect, which has actually threatened the food security of the country. Energy sector not spared, agriculture not spared. Now, you realize that without agriculture activities, which is one of our main generators of funds, you realize that the economy won't be okay. So, it's incumbent up to the government to ensure and prioritize which programs should be funded. Madam Speaker, if you look way back when we had that, where we declared, a country, a disaster, people went without, having meals. So now, despite the fact that the government had already programmed which programs to support, it had to look at the welfare or well-being of the individuals, the people which it serves. So, there are certain priority programs that needs to be funded to ensure that people's lives are protected. Madam Speaker, not only that, let us look at where we are coming from. Madam Speaker, the country is laden with heavy levels of debt. Now, what does that got to do to the economy? Definitely, it slows down the economy of the country. Madam Speaker, if you look at these debts that we have acquired, they are acquired in foreign currency. Now, the moment our currency is weak, you realize that the cost of servicing that debt is increased. And it's incumbent upon the government to ensure that funds are sourced from other circles to replenish these debts, lest they are held accountable in the event they don't repay. Now, Madam Speaker, not only that, if you look at the issue of high levels of debt, which significantly impact on domestic development, economic growth, and service delivery. Debt, Madam Speaker, lead to increase the servicing cost, which will have an effect on the public spending, such as education, health sectors, and other sectors. Madam Speaker, we may talk about the government being careless. I would be one of those people that will talk about the government not funding certain, if only we are not visited with unforeseen issues such as the drought. Madam Speaker, to date, at times I would want to question as to where the Minister of Finance finds money for these programs such as, cash for work. But something that probably, it's not something that probably was in the plans of the government. But because of some of these challenges, just trying to ensure that the people, the hunger situation that they're going through, they have to intervene and see to it that people's lives are secured. So it's some of those issues that probably leave me wondering. But now, when you're looking at these issues from outside, you would want to castigate whatever the government is doing. That's why they say, I think someone can inside, you know, others will say it's brighter from the outside, but from the inside it's somehow dark. So they are saying that, have we realized how the government managed to help us curb the issue of cholera? Something what was not even budgeted for. The issue of, especially in Kanyama, yes, and those other affected, you know, areas. So there are some of the issues that when we stand from outside, we will start just being demanding, want this, knowing that the government is mandated to provide those. But little do we see exactly the challenges which governments are going. So I want to thank the government by trying to prioritize, look at those programs that will ensure that despite whatever is happening, the drought, the debt that we have, they focus on those developmental programs that will help it get some more funds so that other programs can be funded. Madam Speaker, I support this report and I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Chilubi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. What we are discussing, Madam Speaker, is a compass of our national development. And it being a compass of our national development, Madam Speaker, there is need that it reflects the seriousness that we stand for as a country. Madam Speaker, this the 8th National Development Plan has got 4 SDGs. And out of the 4 SDGs, the people of Chilubi will choose to talk about 2 SDGs. I realize, Madam Speaker, that this particular plan is backed by the National Planning and Budgeting Act of number 1 of 2020, and I will take that into account. Madam Speaker, today I will try to talk in 2-point form. This plan, there was a plan to deliver mechanized farming under the economic pillar, which also includes job creation. And one of those factors is to deliver 2,500 tractors. The delivery was 0. Then there was a plan to also link small-scale farmers to access to mechanization funds. And the plan was 4,025. The delivery was negative 4,025. Madam Speaker, when we talk about under the SEM, we have been singing a song of economic diversification. And agriculture offers an opportunity for us to diversify our economy so that we may have a lot of traditional exports joining copper. But that dream we have not yet achieved, and we don't seem to be achieving it. Madam Speaker, under the FISIP, we scored a positive variance of 20,431, which is, to me, according to what is in the data, which is plus 3 million farmers that are supposed to benefit. This is an artificial positive variance. Madam Speaker, when we look at, they say the devil is in the detail. When we come to mining sector, this plan is talking about citizen participation in the economy so that the citizens are also adding value to the economy. Madam Speaker, even our planning is cockeyed, meaning, Madam Speaker, that there's something wrong with the planning. Madam Speaker, we planned, for instance, that we should have 1 refinery, which to me is value addition, which creates employment. Under Pillar 1, the score is 0. Madam Speaker, we planned that we are going to give gold mining licenses to cooperatives, about 6 of them. What did we achieve? We achieved 408 with a positive variance of 402. Madam Speaker, we should not rejoice about that kind of planning. It's chipante-pante. Meaning, Madam Speaker, that we are not aiming our targets properly. It is either there is something wrong with our technocrats who plan this. We cannot plan for 6 and then you give 400. That is not plan. It is not plan. It's not a score. Let us not even rejoice. Madam Speaker, we planned to register mining-related cooperatives, 100 of them. We registered 266 and the variance of 166. That's a positive variance. Madam Speaker, this is equally pante because we needed to project what we need to get out of the same. Madam Speaker, out of such, now we are now talking about value addition, which should talk about this mining that we registered, we should add value, so that the Zambians may have some meaning. We planned to establish mineral trading center 1. We failed to score. That's why I'm calling these numbers pante. 1, we failed to score. 6, we scored 408, which is to me doesn't make any sense. Madam Speaker, we planned to formalize at Zino cooperatives, and we only planned for 15. We scored 150. And this at Zino was supposed also to respond to market linkages. We planned 4 market linkages. When we have a positive variance of 130 out of the artisanal arrangement, but we scored 0 out of 4. That is not a good picture. Madam Speaker, the people of Chulu would like to go on the good governance pillar. The good governance pillar, of course, the money which was allocated, we released 85% of the money. But the good governance pillar, Madam Speaker, those who are writing, if they are in this house, they should listen that this was poorly done. And it was poorly done because it has not captured what goes into good governance. Madam Speaker, if you read page 29, it says sorry site. Good governance, among other things, of course, it has talked about, distantly talked about the CDF, which also, according to this, has not performed well because of the e-government procurement system, which we are all condemning because it is disadvantaging the locals. Madam Speaker, my heart goes to the development outcome number 2, which is improved rule of law, human rights, and constitutionalism. Madam Speaker, as we stand in this country, when we talk about democracy, there's not democracy in this country. The opposition, where are they? It's suppressed, and we are not having any rallies. The Bureau of Rights, which among other things accommodates freedom of expression in Article 20, the other one on freedom of association, and the other one, they are moving in the pockets of an IG. When Kaunda was under hello,
Point of order.
Madam Speaker, let me protect from that character
There is a point of order, Honorable Member for Chilubi, from the Honorable Minister of Justice. Honorable Minister of Justice, what's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. According to Standing Order number 71 of 2014, clearly states that a member who's debating on the floor has to be factual. This is not AI, I'm real. So, Honorable Member, Madam Speaker, I need protection from Honorable Kampion. Madam Speaker, the member who is debating is insinuating that under our government, the freedom of expression, freedom of opinion has gone down, Madam Speaker. Yet, he cannot show us evidence that, for example, the media houses, which were taken down during the PF government, which has not happened in this government. Madam Speaker, the honorable member also continued to make allegation that there's no opposition. That is not opposition party. That is not our issue. They have become disorganized and they have gone into what? Oblivion on their own peril. As PF government, you have failed to come back. So, Madam Speaker, why should the Member of Parliament blame it on the UPND government when their government has failed? I need your serious submission, Madam Speaker, and to substantiate where the freedom of speech has gone, because now the media houses are free because of what we have created under good governance and rule of law. Madam Speaker, I need your serious ruling.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Justice. Honorable members, as we debate, please let's strive to be factual in accordance with our own standing orders. Standing Order 71 is very clear, so let's not speculate or bring in assumptions when we are debating. Let's be factual. So may the Honorable Member for Chilubi continue.
Madam
But
Speaker,
please,
before I was interrupted,
Honorable Member for Chilubi.
I was, sorry.
The problem is we don't listen. I have not finished. So I was saying, Honorable Member for Chilubi, let's be factual. What you were saying that some IG is carrying the Bill of Rights in their pockets, that's not factual, Honorable Member. Let's not be dramatists. Let's be factual. You may continue, please, Honorable Member for Chilubi.
Madam Speaker, before I was interrupted, what I was talking about is that whereas we have the Bill of Rights this side, we have introduced draconian laws that are acting as lawfare, which are actually stepping on the rights of the Zambians. And I'm referring to Cyber Security Act. I'm also referring to Cyber Crimes Act, which in this case, Madam Speaker, have played a toll on the freedom of expression. Madam Speaker, as I speak, we have seen how government agencies have interfered with the freedom of association by political parties. Cap 119 of the laws of Zambia, Madam Speaker, is under capture because people are playing there to see who should be a member. We have seen where people are now deciding who should be a member of a political party, who should be a president of a political party, on behalf of a political party. That, Madam Speaker, is not a good practice in a democracy like ours, which was introduced through the amendment of Article 4 by Dr. Kenneth Kaunda. And I think the station we have reached is a dangerous one, and we have to review it, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
And this is not good.
Your time is up, Honorable Member. Thank you very much for your debate. The Honorable Member for Kalomo.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
There is an indication for a point of order. Honorable members, we have two motions and we have committee stage. So please, if we can, maybe this will be the last point of order I'm going to allow. Because looking at the time, we are running behind. Honorable member for Shwangandu, what's the point of order?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the standard rules here dictate that we shouldn't debate ourselves. I'm sitting here, Madam Speaker, going through this report so that I can also contribute. And I hear the Honorable Minister of Justice mentioning my name and that she needed protection from yourself, from me. Madam Speaker, the country knows that the Honorable Minister of Justice needs protection from the artificial intelligence, AI, because she's a subject matter in a very interesting debate, Madam Speaker, which is now in public knowledge. She's a subject, and I thought she would be asking for protection from artificial intelligence. Is she in order to ask for protection from me, an innocent honorable member, going through a report so that I can contribute to the debate on the floor? I think you're serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
You see, we are losing time with all these points of order. I don't know, maybe to make the House lighter, to have a lighter moment. But Honorable Member for Shwangandu, I believe the Honorable Minister of Justice was seeking for protection because you were saying something while she was on the floor of the House raising the point of order. And that's why your name was mentioned. Because as one honorable member is on the floor debating or raising a point of order, the other honorable members should listen quietly instead of debating or making interjections. That is why the Honorable Minister was in order to seek the protection of the presiding officer to stop the Honorable Member for Shuangandu from breaching our standing orders. So she was in order. May we make progress? May the Honorable Member for Kalomo please proceed.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. If you are looking for guidance or knowledge to be lectured, you don't go to somebody who failed to run an economy. Somebody who plundered the economy, failed even to service the debt, can now come and lecture us on good economics. For me, such people have no moral right. The previous two speaker here who was here was the Minister of Transport, but he even failed to take a single tower to his constituents. Yesterday he was complaining that in my constituents some people don't have network, but he was a Minister of Transport and Communication. You must be first exemplary, have integrity to actually lecture others. Yes, when you are running an economy, there are flaws that happen. They are. This government has made much progress. When are you going to say thank you? It has made much progress. Let's look at now. You're talking about the minerals. You have increased the volume of the mines. The sales are. The Kwacha has gained. You are not seeing that. That's very true. When you talked about free education, which you lamentably failed to fulfill. You said it would not work, it worked. You are no longer talking about it now. You talked about the price of meal. We told you, first we are investing on production. You were arguing.
Honorable member, the Honorable Member for Chilubi, you are supposed to listen, wait and listen to the debate. No, can you take? Yes, listen to the debate. I don't know where the Honorable Member for Lunte has gone, because he raised a few issues and then he disappears. How will he know the response? He has run down. May the Honorable Member for Kalomo continue.
Madam Speaker, the PF ran the most corrupt government Zambia has ever experienced. It's true. It's there on the record. It's true. And that's why they moved from power. I'll give you an example. The road from the Seco going to Chipata, as you go along Greatest Road, as you go to the airport, was supposed to be dual carriage. Was supposed to be dual carriage. What happened? Money that you were given 360 million to improve ZESCO. What happened? Money Eurobond that went to Zambia Railway. What happened? And today you can stand and lecture us on economics when we have made so much progress. You have no moral right. You have no moral right. As we are talking now, the dollar dual carriage, 3 million was spent, 30 million was spent, but nothing was done. Nothing was done. And you had exaggerated the price of the dollar dual carriage to 1.something billion. And 30 million was used, nothing was done. Today you can come to lecture us economy. No, we need to go somewhere else. No. Sometimes you go too far. When you are running an economy, every country has got prisons. We are not saying we are running saints. We are not saying we are running angels. There will be, yes, people who will make mistakes, but the law will catch up with them. For us, where's the difference? In your government, when people plundered, you actually promoted them. You did not punish them, depending on who they were. If they belonged to your party, they were above the law. For us, anyone who does that is on his own. It doesn't matter whether he's UPND or not, the law will visit him. And that's the way you run a government. That's the way you run a government. So here, the country has done very well. I will compare to my constituents, Madam Speaker. Under PF, I received 0 desks. Now I have made desks for all the schools in the constituency. Isn't that progress? Under PF, I never bought anything for the council, no tools. We have bought now a grader 140. We have bought now a rig to dig boreholes. We have got now a compactor. Isn't that progress? You come at how many classroom blocks I have put. Under PF, 0. Under UPN, I have put more than 8 classroom blocks. Laboratories, I have put more than 6 laboratories. What are you talking about? Roads, we have done more than 200 kilometers gravel grading. This is the progress that is improving human life. And I think, you see, you have to rebrand. And sometimes you think and see how much damage you have done to human society. You can't always be coming, you forget about what you did, you say now I've changed. When you are actually not changing, you are still the same. I cannot get into a driver with a bus driver who has crashed more than 5 buses. I can't. I can't. I see this driver took a bus, it crashed. Given another one, it crashed. It's the same example who you are. Now you expect us to follow economics. When you were here, you said you should borrow regardless of what happens. That's what you are saying right in here. And what happened now? What happened? We are in this situation, and this same government you don't appreciate is cleaning up the debt that you brought. Yeah. Cleaning up the debt. Working very hard, having sleepless nights. Sometimes learn to say thank you very much. You are equally benefiting from the goodies of this government. Chiburuma Road was done. No, thank you. Ndora Road. How I wish that Ndora Road you were doing my road. I would be very grateful. Singing every day. But you are given these facilities you don't appreciate. And all you come every day is to find you twist information. Your propaganda is very dangerous. It needs to be verified. Your propaganda which you are interesting, and you don't even offer any alternative policies. Always fund propaganda, twisting information, using artificial intelligence to say things that are not correct. Yeah. Leadership is with integrity, facts, and people are able to judge. If every day you are not telling what is correct, one day when you be saying the thing that is correct, no one will believe you. We need to come up with alternative policies that Zambians can see that this is what you are doing. Yeah. Very good vision of CDF, you are criticizing it. Where then? How do we go on like that? Madam Speaker, yes. I think for me, this government has done very well. Yeah. It has worked for the people, and that's where it should be. Free education, people are benefiting. Yeah. Some farmers now, in farming, you were giving my constituents 2 bags of fertilizer. Where you are coming from 8 bags. All that segregation is gone now. Everyone is treated equally. When CDF comes, it's everybody. Yeah. When we were here, you would only give who? Only cabinet ministers. Even the chiefs, when we were paying them, those who didn't like, you didn't give them the allowances. That kind of segregation. Learn to say thank you. Yeah. Madam Speaker, I hope they have understood. Thank you very much.
There's an indication from Honorable Member for Mwense. He's joining us virtually. Is he ready to join the debate? Because I'm almost winding up. Then if he's not ready, I'll give the floor to the Honorable Member for Shiwangandu.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to debate the motion on the floor. Madam Speaker, your report brings out very interesting issues. I will focus on 2 areas, Madam Speaker. On page 36 of your report, the committee raises an issue regarding domestic resource revenue mobilization. And under this, Madam Speaker, there are some recommendations. The committee recommends, and I quote, the committee observes that the 8th National Development Plan has faced many challenges, among them huge financing gaps for the various SDAs, failure to allocate sufficient funds has affected the attainment of the targets set in the 8th National Development Plan. And this will negatively impact Zambia's attainment of the Vision 2030 of becoming a prosperous middle-income nation by 2030. Madam Speaker, this is what the report is stating. And I think, as honorable members, we should find time to dissect these reports that are very critical and which mean well for the development of this country. It doesn't pay to apportion blame and finger-pointing, because the report is very clear on what is required to be done. Madam Speaker, when the plan is not sufficiently funded it's as good as not being in place. Because you can plan and only plan to fail. Because every plan depends on how much resource you are going to allocate to achieve the set targets. So if the report is saying we have insufficiently funded the plans, we are as good as not starting anything. And what some of the reasons are avoidable reasons, Madam Speaker. For example, they are talking about curbing and addressing illicit financial flows. Here, Madam Speaker, the committee observes that Africa loses an estimated amount of 88.6 billion each year through illicit financial flows, representing about 3.7% of the continent's GDP. In Zambia's case, the Financial Intelligence Center flagged suspected illicit financial flows exceeding 3.5 billion, approximately 99 billion kwacha in 2024 and preceding years. Madam Speaker, if this doesn't concern us, who are people's representatives, then I don't know. Because this is where the challenge is, Madam Speaker. If you allow these huge sums of money slipping out, and the Minister of Finance is coming here to request for supplementary budget because he can't find resources to fund his budget lines as approved by this August House, it's a big challenge, Madam Speaker. And this is where we need to apply our efforts to ensure that the money that is needed to help the Minister of Finance is put in place. Madam Speaker, the report talks about the mining sector. And I'm surprised that the government was responding that they have put measures to formalize the mining activities of small-scale miners. Madam Speaker, we have lamented here, and I've used my my local language adage of saying, "Mulembo wachipuba upira muri tumfwe." Okra, Madam Speaker, prepared by a foolish person, would finish, the whole pot will finish by people testing before the main meal is prepared. This is what is happening here in this country. Madam Speaker, if we can't account for the gold that is being mined by small-scale miners, and all we do is being reactive as government to go and shoot down people who are fending for their lives. Madam Speaker, I've lamented before that the responsibility of government is to ensure that the natural capital that we have endowed this country is preserved and exploited for the betterment of this country. If you can't account for who is mining gold in Swangandu, in Mpika, in Mufumbwe, in Rufunsa, how can you be surprised when you see planes laden with millions and millions of dollars at the airport, with bars of gold in another plane, ready to transact? And ZRA is not anywhere near. What sort of country are you running, Madam Speaker? How else are we going to get resources to give that Honorable Minister of Finance to run this nation? He came last week, Madam Speaker, cutting expenditure from budget lines totaling to 10.9 billion kwacha, saying it's savings. We all know that you can't declare savings in the middle of a fiscal year. So, Madam Speaker, we need to do things that are correct and right. This report is highlighting these issues. Year in, year out, FIC report is just talking about financial flows. Our institutions, financial institutions here, facilitating externalization of resources that are meant for the Zambians. And no one is held accountable. Here now we are talking farmers, you have to buy 500 metric tons, Madam Speaker. If you just got a quota of that 3.5 billion to inject in the farming sector, all the farmers will be happy and they'll be productive. But to let that money go. Today, our farmers are sleeping on depots, Madam Speaker, with this code. With this code. For more than 2 weeks to just sell 10 bags of maize. to FRA. And FRA is saying they have got no enough money. Your question, that's why you don't receive missed calls. That's why you don't receive missed calls, special missed calls. Madam Speaker, all I'm saying is that let's do what the government is supposed to do. We are all government. We are all part of government. We are highlighting these issues because we are all concerned. And our people are looking up to us to find solutions to the challenges they are facing day in, day out. Collectively. And that's why we are speaking to these issues, because we know we are also affected. So, Honorable Minister of Finance, take heed of the recommendations from this report, especially when it's talking about curbing illicit financial flows. It's here in this report. I'm not speaking from nowhere. So, Madam Speaker, with these few remarks,
Thank you.
I commend the committee for the job well done. You are being patriotic Zambians. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Luena.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to debate this report, ably presented by my honorable colleague, the chair of the committee, and seconded by Honorable Mumba. Madam Speaker, the people of Luena would like to make use of this opportunity to just focus on a few areas of the report. The 8th National Development Plan, Madam Speaker, has got a number of strategic development areas. Yeah. And each strategic development area has development outcomes also included under it. And we would like to highlight that among the 3 SDAs, which is economic transformation and job creation, human and social environment, and environmental sustainability, we would like to just focus on the economic transformation and job creation. And the 3 development outcomes under that SDA, Madam Speaker, are an industrialized and diversified economy, enhanced citizen participation, and a competitive private sector. Madam Speaker, to understand the progress that has been made thus far, it's important for us to ask ourselves, progress from where? Where did this government start from? So just a quick reminder, Madam Speaker, of where this government started from. Yeah. Madam Speaker, when people are talking about the Financial Intelligence Center reports, we wish to remind them that where we are coming from, they were almost abolishing the Financial Intelligence Center. Yeah. Madam Speaker, when people are talking about missed economic development or growth in terms of GDP, we wish to remind them that we are coming from negative economic growth. Yeah. And maybe they don't appreciate what negative economic growth has, the impact it has on an economy. Right. Madam Speaker, it means the economy is shrinking, getting smaller and smaller. If it's a human being, you grow from my brother's small size, Dundumwezi, to the bigger size of my brother there, the neighbor, Katongola Member of Parliament. Getting smaller, Madam Speaker. That's what was happening to the economy, Madam Speaker, as we are getting into 2020. Madam Speaker, we have defaulted on payment of our external obligations as an economy, the Eurobond. It's there for everybody to everybody saw that for themselves. Madam Speaker, the high and reckless borrowing that was undertaken by our East-to-West colleagues when they were in government is that foundation where we are coming from. Just a reminder, domestic borrowing alone, treasury bills and government bonds. In 2025, Madam Speaker, the obligation stood at in 2015, the obligation stood at 24 billion. And by 2021, Madam Speaker, when the people of Zambia said, declare to those colleagues of ours, which means go and go for good, they left this government with a debt obligation of treasury bills and government bonds of 192 billion. A huge part of that borrowing, Madam Speaker, happened between 2016 and 2020. They cannot run away from it because numbers do not lie. Now, it is that base, Madam Speaker, from which this government has
made progress. So the progress we are talking about, which is included in this report, Madam Speaker, under the economic transformation and job creation as strategic development area, must be understood in that context. So when we talk about the government setting itself a target of no less than 3.6% of GDP as fiscal deficit, that was met, Madam Speaker, in 2023, and it was also achieved in 2024. That's good progress given the background of where we are coming from. When we talk about improved domestic revenue mobilization, Madam Speaker, which was set at a minimum of 21% of GDP, Madam Speaker, in 2023, that came out at 21.8, higher than the target, and in 2024, it came out at 23.4, higher than the target. The fundamentals of the economy were slowly coming under control. Domestic borrowing, Madam Speaker, which was set as target less than 4.7% and of GDP, came out at 2.9% in 2023 and 2.2% in 2024. The fundamentals of the economy, Madam Speaker. International reserves, Madam Speaker, set at 3 months. 2023 was at 3.7 months, in other words, almost 4 months, and 4.6 months in 2024. That's the cover that we are sitting with, even as we speak right now, which means the economic fundamentals, Madam Speaker, are on track. Real GDP, as opposed to the negative economic growth, Madam Speaker, that we were experiencing, we know that it was set at a minimum of 4.5%, but was 5.4 in 2023, was achieved, and a slight reduction in 2024, and it came out at 4%. All because of the international factors that we are all aware of. Not to forget the local factors such as the huge and the terrible drought that we experienced as a nation. Madam Speaker, inflation, the target of 6.8%. Indeed, we are still facing some headwinds in that direction, but the measures that are being put in place by this government shows that the inflation is also stabilizing, and therefore it means that we can now achieve our development outcomes under economic transformation and job creation. How is that going to be done? When local debt is being serviced, it means that the private sector that we want to enhance their participation in the economy will be paid, and therefore they can create more jobs as more interactions and more transactions take place between the private sector and between the private sector and the government as well. Madam Speaker, the economy that this government, through the leadership of His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema and his team of economic managers, Madam Speaker, is one that our colleagues who left it on its knees must appreciate. That what has been done, must appreciate and applaud, that what has been done is to enable them also achieve what they are achieving in their constituencies. Maybe some of them, Madam Speaker, the anger we see is because they were denying CDF, they have done nothing, and they know there are people who will kick them out next year. Now they want to be claiming even CDF is fictitious. Madam Speaker, as I speak right now in Luena constituency, we are constructing 13 1-by-3 classrooms, and that's just from contracts awarded in the last 2 months. Now that means we have got thousands of children that we are learning under trees, thousands of children that we are learning under unhygienic conditions. Will in the next 2-3 weeks have proper classrooms, Madam Speaker, equipped with solar lighting. All these, Madam Speaker, are developments that have happened because of the good economic and the ability that has been demonstrated by this government to manage the economy, the economic affairs of the nation. Yeah. Madam Speaker, with these few words, we would like to say we support this report and we encourage the minister and the government to continue on this trajectory. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Looking at the time, we can't take it any further than that. The Honorable Minister of Finance and National Planning to respond.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and I want to thank the committee for their report, and I also want to thank those who have debated The report that we are debating, Madam Speaker, is on the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan. The report has highlighted areas where the plan has not been implemented well. The examples that have been cited by colleagues, and indeed the report itself, include the fact that funding of some of the programs has been below what was planned. There's also been indication of inadequate efficiency and accountability in the use of public resources. Madam Speaker, like every other plan, when you do a plan, implementation, it's not strange that there are some deviations. That happens all the time, whether it is in our homes, whether it is in companies, whether it is at the national level. Some deviations do take place. But what is important is to say that big picture in the plan, the big picture in the plan, is it being implemented or it is not being implemented? The big picture. And I want to say, Madam Speaker, that as far as I'm concerned, the big picture of the plan is on the track. I think Honorable Anakoka has outlined some of the elements of the big picture in the plan that are being implemented with satisfaction. Just to point out, or before I go to that, the debate that I'm hearing about the table is focusing on those maybe elements that are not really the big picture. That's where the debate is focusing. But the truth is that the big picture is being implemented. Madam Speaker, in the last 4 years, the economy year after year is growing. At an average, not even 1% or 2%, at an average of about 5%. This is something that we never saw under the PF. Madam, when we came in, one of the plans was to do something about the unsustainable debt that the PF left behind. That has also been ticked off now, because that unsustainable debt has been dealt with. Madam Speaker, when the colleagues who were debating here left, inflation in the country was at more than 22% per annum. The last 4 years, in spite of the challenges that we faced, we have never reached an inflation rate of 22%. The highest that we ever got, even in the period of serious drought, was 16.8%. They left it at 22%. Now, with the drought coming down, we see inflation. The last report we got was 14.3%. Watch the space on Friday, because I think next week, the latest inflation number is being reported. And I'm almost certain that the rate of inflation that is going to be reported is going to continue to go down. Madam Speaker, when they left office, the reserves of the country were just about $2 billion. Today, the reserves of the country are more than $4.5 billion in 4 years. So, Madam Speaker, on the social sector, 4 years ago, many of us, as we went to our rural areas, you find that in a school of grade 1 to grade 9, only the 3 teachers, sometimes 2, sometimes 1 teacher. In spite of all the money that they borrowed, they never bothered to hire teachers. Madam Speaker, nurses, and so many other aspects of development, we are just not there. Today, these things are being done. And this is the big picture I'm talking about when I say that the big picture is being implemented.
Order, as the time is 16:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a health break.
So, 4 minutes.
So much you are watching Parliament TV, and business has been suspended for 20 minutes health break. At the time business was suspended, the Minister of Finance and National Planning was debating the motion moved by Mr. Fred Ajatila, Mwamba, Member of Parliament, urging the House to adopt the report of the Planning and Budgeting Committee on the consideration of the 2024 Annual Progress Report on the implementation of the 8th National Development Plan for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 22nd July 2025.
And this motion was seconded by Mr. Anthony Mumba, who is the Vice Chairperson of the Planning and Budgeting Committee. So when business resumes, the Minister of Finance will continue debating. And when business resumed at 14:30 earlier in the day, Madam Speaker did make 3 announcements, and Madam Speaker did acquaint the House with the presence in the Speaker's gallery of the Honourable Member of Parliament and staff from the Parliament of Uganda, Honourable Milton Kuwama Kalulu, Member of Parliament and Chairperson, Uganda Parliamentary Alliance on Food and Nutrition Security, and Mr. Kizito Sesebuoza, Coordinator, Uganda Parliamentary Alliance on Food and Nutrition. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, Madam Speaker did receive the distinguished guest and warmly welcome them to the Assembly.
Madam Speaker also recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Great North Road Academy and Jamestown Academy. And Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, welcomed the visitors to the institution.
There was another delegation in the Right Honourable Madam Speaker's gallery, and she did acquaint the House with the presence in the Speaker's gallery of the following members of the Emeritus Parliamentarians of Africa in Lusaka District: Honourable Dr. Michael Kaingu, President; Honourable Annie Chungu, Vice President; Honourable Kenneth Chipungu, Treasurer; and the Honourable Professor Godfrey Lungwangwa, Secretary General. On behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, Madam Speaker did receive the distinguished guest and warmly welcome them to the Assembly. So those were the announcements that were made earlier in the day, just before members of Parliament started debating various business that is appearing on today's order paper.
Yes, indeed, Apostle. So we also do expect the House to consider a motion expected to be moved by Mr. Harry Kamboni. He is a Kalomo Member of Parliament. He is expected to move a motion urging the House to adopt the report of the Committee on Education, Science and Technology on the performance audit report on the implementation of the free education policy in enhancing access and quality of education to learners in Zambia 2020 to 2024 for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 23rd July 2025.
We expect 2 bills that are coming up at committee stage, and these are the National Road Fund Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 2 of 2025, and the Border Management and Trade Facilitation Bill, National Assembly Bill number 5 of 2025. Like I mentioned earlier on, these 2 bills are coming up at committee stage. And Joe, earlier on, we did witness the maiden speech that was made by Mr. Ofeo Ngoma, who is a Lumezi Member of Parliament. So basically that's a business that has been considered on the floor of the House, and we had a question, maybe the brief details of the question that was considered on the floor of the House that came from Ms. S. Mwambaka, Sama Central Member of Parliament. Joe.
Yes, indeed, President. So this was question 391. And in this question, Ms. Siwongile Mwambaka, former Member of Parliament, wanted to ask the Minister of, actually did ask the Minister of Transport and I beg your pardon, she did ask the Minister of Transport and Logistics in 3 parts. She wanted to find out how many cases of motorcycle-related accidents were recorded countrywide as of March 2025, what measures the government is taking to ensure that motorcycle riders are trained and licensed before they start operating on public roads, and what other interventions are being taken to reduce the occurrence of motorcycle accidents and avert a rise in the number of deaths and loss of property.
We'll be able to share with you the details of the responses that were given by the Minister of Transport and Logistics. For now, together with Chola Kauma, who is our sign language interpreter for today, we'll take a short break. Keep watching Parliament Television.